Good morning, and I'm pretty animated today. I'm pretty amplified. I've got some incredible news. Anyway, before I go on that, I really got to be aware of how I'm going to be delivering this, because being animated, you're kind of irrational with your thoughts, and you could some heavy F-bombs could be unloaded here, but I can't, because I plan to post this on various platforms, inclusive of YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. And those guys, they got this copper law, and the copper law is Child Online Protection Privacy Act. So I've got to really be careful of what I can say. However, when you're animated like this, you want to give it. That also brings me to another quote that I heard many years ago that kind of resonated in my brain, and I try and forcefully not to swear, because when motivational speaking was a thing, there was a guy that represented the whole word, and it was Les Brown, and he said, if I can get this right, profanity is the effort of a feeble mind to express itself forcibly. And I looked into that quote, and he actually took it from someone else. He took it from a guy called Spencer W. Kimball, and that guy was way back in the 70s, and he was part of the he was part of the church movement. Now the church movement, whatever religion, I don't know that information, but he made gospel pretty big. Anyway, so since then I kind of always try to tone down my language on these kind of platforms. However, right, so I'm going to give you a date, and the date is going to be the 13th of February 2020, and I have been blessed with an interview with Rob Moore, and that will go on his podcast, and it will stream live on his Facebook Live, as well as it will with me. If you're not in the fitness industry, then you might know him, because he's massive on property. He runs a property business called Progressive Properties, but as well as that, he's got the country's leading property education event centres going on as well. So he teaches people how to be big in property. As well as that, he's a serial entrepreneur. That's kind of one of the best ways you can describe him. He's got a podcast called The Disruptive Entrepreneur. He's also got another podcast called Money. He's written over 15 books, many of them that I've read. A few of them he's co-written, and they're based on property and self-development. He's got a Facebook page, which he's got over 120,000 followers, and he's got the supporters program, and within the supporters program he gives you accountability tasks, or he asks for favors, and you will get repaid remuneration. You were given gifts, etc., etc. So leading up to Christmas, the 12 days of Christmas, every single day he put out a task for us to complete. Now the tasks are quite simple. Go on his LinkedIn profile, for example, and leave a review. Purchase a book, leave a review on Audible, that kind of thing. So I followed through. So all I've done is be consistent. That's all I've done. I've listened, I've become aware, and I've put myself towards the result that would hopefully be the victor. And the victor being, I got chosen as one of the 8 out of how many hundreds that went for it to interview the dude. And as I said in the beginning, I am pretty animated. Now, if you go back to my previous YouTube videos, you will find, on the beginning of this year, 2020, I said something big, something massive, and probably the biggest thing to happen in my life, career-wise, And personal wise, to be quite fair to you, I've never had this kind of platform to speak out on, and it's all thanks to Rob Moore. So go follow the dude. Respect, peace and love.